So welcome again to the next lecture of the engineering chemistry course as we are continuing with the unit 4. But before starting the today's lecture, just have a quick recap of the topics which we have covered in our previous class. In the previous class we have started with the properties of the lubricant, in which physical and the chemical properties we have discussed. In the physical properties we have discussed in the detail about the definition of cloud and pour point, their determination and the significance of the cloud and pour point. And the second property we have discussed in detail in the previous class was the flash and fire point. In the flash and fire point we have discussed about their definition, their significance and the use of Pensky-Martin apparatus to determine the flash and fire point. So that's all for the previous class. Now in the today's class, the topics will be covered are continuing with the physical properties of the lubricants. In the today's class, viscosity and the viscosity index and their significance, and the emulsification property of the lubricant will be discussed. So first is the viscosity. What is viscosity? The viscosity is the property of a liquid or a fluid by virtue of which it offers resistance to its own flow or motion. So basically we can see here three types of liquid: water, olive oil and honey, and we can easily make out about the viscosity of these liquids. We know that the maximum viscosity in these three is the honey, and the minimum viscosity in these three is for the water, while the olive oil has the medium viscosity. So mainly we relate the property of the viscosity with their flow. So basically viscosity is the property which restricts to its own motion. Okay, now question comes, why we are discussing the viscosity with respect to the lubricating oil, what it affects. So basically the viscosity of lubricating oil is a very important parameter with respect to the lubrication property of the oil. Why? Because if the viscosity of the lubricating oil is too high, so this high viscosity will cause the excessive friction, due to which proper lubrication cannot be done. Secondly, if the viscosity of the lubricating oil is very low, then a liquid oil film cannot exist between the two metallic surfaces. So in both of the cases proper lubrication cannot be done. That is why we must know about the viscosity of the lubricating oil which will be used in the metallic surfaces. Now another important term is the kinematic viscosity. What is kinematic viscosity? The viscosity which is measured by determining the time of flow of a given quantity of a liquid from a given height through a calibrated capillary tube under its own weight is called kinematic viscosity. So basically kinematic viscosity is the viscosity which is measured by the time of flow of the lubricating oil. Mathematically, we can say that kinematic viscosity, which is represented by gamma, is equal to the ratio of the absolute viscosity and the density of the lubricating oil. Neta is the absolute viscosity here, gamma is the kinematic viscosity, and rho is the density of the lubricating oil. So the kinematic viscosity is equal to the absolute viscosity divided by the density of the lubricating oil. The units for the kinematic viscosity is the centi-Stokes, which is equal to centimeters square by seconds. Now, determination of kinematic viscosity. In general, in case of lubricants, we are determining the kinematic viscosity only, because the kinematic viscosity can be easily measured by measuring the time of flow of the liquid. So we are measuring the kinematic viscosity of the lubricating oils. The viscosity of the oil can be measured by the instrument or the apparatus which is known as the viscometer. Mainly, three types of viscometers are used, that is Redwood viscometer, angular viscometer and the Sebold viscometer. But mostly the Redwood viscometer is commonly used in the laboratories for the determination of kinematic viscosity of the given lubricating oil. Okay, and we know that in general in the all these viscometers the viscosity is measured in terms of the time of flow, measured in the seconds of the given lubricating oil. So let us start with the determination of kinematic viscosity by Redwood viscometer. This is the Redwood viscometer. The main components of the Redwood viscometer are oil cup, heating bath, stirrer, leveling screws and the Kohlrausch flask. So this is the Redwood viscometer. First main component is the oil cup. This is the oil cup. It is a silver plated brass cup. The oil cup is made up of the brass. It is the silver plated brass cup which is open at the upper end. Okay, and the bottom of this cylinder is fitted with this bottom is fitted with the agate jet. This is the agate jet, fitted with the agate jet that can be kept closed or open by a valve rod fitted with a ball made up of brass. So this is the valve rod. At the bottom of this rod there is the small brass ball like this. So but with the help of this small brass ball, the orifice of this jet can be open or can be closed. Okay, now the lid of the oil cup, this oil cup is fitted with the thermometer which can record the temperature of the lubricating oil. Sorry. Second important component is the heating bath. This oil cup is surrounded by a cylinder. This cylinder which is made up of the copper. This is also known as the heating bath or the water bath. This heating bath is filled with the water. Okay, it has the opening for the inlet and the outlet for the water. This third main structure is the stirrer. The stirrer carrying out 4 blades is fitted in this water bath for maintaining the uniform desired temperature in the water bath. Next is the leveling screws. This entire apparatus, Redwood viscometer, this entire apparatus rests on 3 legs provided 3 legs providing at their bottom with these leveling screws. These are the leveling screws. And last one is the Kohlrausch flask. It is a special type of receiver flask which receives the oil. Its capacity is 50 ml to the mark in its neck. So this is the mark here. Up to this mark 50 ml oil can be received in this Kohlrausch flask. So basically these are the main components of the Redwood viscometer. Now the Redwood viscometer are of 2 types, that is Redwood viscometer number 1 and Redwood viscometer number 2. What is the main difference between these two? Basically both of these are similar in principle, shape and working, but the difference is in the diameter of orifice and the length of the jet. So in the Redwood viscometer number 1, the diameter of this orifice, this is the orifice, this whole diameter is 1.62 millimeter, and the length of the jet, this jet length of this jet is 10 millimeter. While in Redwood viscometer number 2, the diameter of the orifice, this diameter of this orifice is 3.8 mm and length of the jet is 50 mm. That means this is the longer jet. Okay. Now the Redwood viscometer number 1 is used for the lubricating oil having the viscosity low, while the Redwood viscometer number 2 is used for the lubricating oils which are having the high viscosity. So this is about the construction of the Redwood viscometer. Now coming towards the working of Redwood viscometer. First of all, this oil cup is cleaned with a suitable solvent like carbon tetrachloride, ether or petroleum spirit. Now the instrument is labeled with the help of these labeling screws and water bath is filled with the water. And the brass ball is now kept in the position to seal the orifice. Now it is kept in the center position so that orifice or the jet is closed now. After closing this orifice, test oil is filled in the oil cup up to the pointer, up to the mark here. We have the indicator mark in the oil cup. Here we have the indicator mark. So till the indicator mark, which is known as the pointer, we are filling the lubricating oil, sample oil in the oil cup. Now the desired temperature at which the viscosity is to be measured is maintained by stirring the water and the oil in the water bath and oil cup respectively. That means we start the heating of the Redwood viscometer. When we start the heating, actually it is connected electrically. So when we start the heating, water in the water bath is started to heat up. Due to this heating, the oil cup start to heat and the oil in the oil cup is started to heat up. So first of all, suppose we want to take reading at the 30 degree centigrade. So first of all, up to the 30 degree centigrade, we are heating the lubricating oil. Okay, so at the desired temperature means the temperature at which we want to take the viscosity determination. Okay, now when the 30 degree centigrade temperature or the desired temperature is achieved, the ball valve is lifted. This ball is lifted and now oil start to flow from the jet to the Kohlrausch flask. As we remove the brass ball from the orifice, we start the stopwatch. So now we are noting the time in which this complete oil, 50 ml oil, start to flow and collected into the Kohlrausch flask. So we note down the time in second in which 50 ml oil is collected in the Kohlrausch flask. So this is the first reading, that is at 30 degree centigrade. This lubricating oil takes X seconds to flow in the Kohlrausch flask. Okay, now when this 50 ml mark is completed, that means 50 ml oil is filled, again we close the orifice with the help of the brass bowl. So this is the first reading at the 30 degree centigrade or any of the desired temperature. The result is expressed in seconds at the particular temperature. By noting down this temperature reading, we can calculate the kinematic viscosity. So now moving towards the next property, that is the viscosity index, which is related to the viscosity. Basically, we must know the variation of the viscosity with the temperature. Viscosity of a lubricating oil is inversely proportional to the temperature. Why? Because as the temperature increases, the intermolecular forces decreases and hence the viscosity also decreases and fluidity increases. That means as we increase the temperature, the viscosity of the lubricating oil decreases. So the rate of change of viscosity with temperature is expressed as a scale known as the viscosity index. So viscosity index is the criteria to measure the change of viscosity with the temperature, which may be defined as the average decrease in viscosity per degree rise of temperature between 100 Fahrenheit to 210 Fahrenheit. So what is the viscosity index? Viscosity index is the average decrease in the viscosity per degree rise of temperature between 100 to 210 Fahrenheit temperatures. So, how can we calculate the viscosity index of the given lubricating oil? How can we determine the viscosity index? Viscosity index of an oil, suppose X oil. So, viscosity index of an X oil is determined with the help of two types of standard oils. One is the Pennsylvanian oil or the H oil, which is mainly containing the straight chain paraffins, and the other standard oil is the Gulf oil or the L oil, commonly containing the aromatic compound containing naphthalene. So we are choosing two standard substances or the two standard oils. One is the straight chain oil, Pennsylvanian oil. Second one is the naphthalene containing oil, that is the Gulf oil. So these are the two standard lubricating oil with the help of which we can determine the viscosity index of the unknown oil X. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are assigning the these are the two standard lubricating oil. We are assigning the viscosity index 100 and 0 respectively to these oils. 100 viscosity index is assigned to the straight chain paraffins oil, Pennsylvanian oil, and 0 viscosity index is assigned to the Gulf oil. So we are choosing two extreme oils here. One is with the 0 viscosity index, second one is with the 100 viscosity index. So any given lubricating oil must be lying between these limits. It must be in between to 0 to 100. So what we are doing here, we are determining the viscosity of the given lubricating oil with the help of Redwood viscometer. Now with the graph we can easily calculate viscosity and temperature relation here. We are at the x-axis, temperature scale is here, and the y-axis is here, the viscosity. As we increases the temperature, viscosity of the oil continuously decreases. So what we are doing here, to determine the viscosity index of the unknown lubricating oil, we are using this formula L minus U divided by L minus H multiplied by 100. What is L here? L is the viscosity of the lubricating oil. This viscosity of the lubricating oil at 100 Fahrenheit, while U is the viscosity of the lubricating oil at 100 Fahrenheit. H is the viscosity of the Pennsylvanian oil at 100 Fahrenheit. So we are determining the viscosities of these three oils. One is the Gulf oil, second one is the Pennsylvanian oil, and third one is the unknown sample oil. By putting the values of the viscosity of these lubricating oils in this formula, we can calculate the viscosity index of the given lubricating oil. So what is the significance of viscosity index with respect to the lubricating oil or the lubrication property? If the viscosity of an oil is only slightly changed on raising the temperature, that means its viscosity index is high. So when we are using the lubricating oil in between the metallic surfaces which are moving fast over each other, so due to their movement, heat energy is generated and temperature between the metallic surfaces increases. So with the increase in the temperature between the metallic surfaces, if the viscosity varies and viscosity decreases, then oils flows away between the metallic surfaces and proper lubrication cannot be possible. So always the lubricating oil must possesses the high viscosity index, which shows the slight variation of viscosity with the temperature. Secondly, if the viscosity of an oil decreases rapidly with the increase in the temperature, that means it has the low viscosity index. In this case, poor lubrication may cause the wear and tear in the metallic part of the engines. So we must know, before choosing the lubricating oil, we must know about its viscosity index. Always a good good lubrication, lubricating oil should have high viscosity index. To improve the viscosity index, we may add the viscosity index improvers or the viscosity index improver substances to the lubricating oil, or blending with these type of improvers we can done. Generally long chain hydrocarbons are used for the viscosity index improver, for example polybutene, hexanol, etc. Now coming towards the next property, that is the emulsification. Basically, emulsification is the property of lubricating oil to get intimately mixed with the water and forming the mixture of emulsion, because we know that oil sorry, because we know that oil and water cannot dissolve each other. So these are forms the emulsion like this. This is the emulsion, oil in water emulsion. Now, why we are studying this property in case of lubrication? Because emulsions are capable to collect dirt, grit, dust, foreign matter easily, thereby causing abrasion and the wearing out of the lubricated parts of the machinery. Therefore, we must know that the lubricating oil has how much tendency for the emulsification. Thus, a good lubricating oil should form such an emulsion with water which breaks easily, that means which demulsify easily. This property is called demulsification. So what is emulsification property is here. Emulsification means when we are using the lubricating oil between two metallic surfaces, then if the lubricating oil has the tendency to form the emulsion, so it catch the moisture from the surrounding environment and form the emulsion. Once the emulsion is formed between the metallic surfaces, this emulsion can catch the dirt, dust or the foreign matter from the surroundings, and due to this proper lubrication cannot be possible. So we must choose such type of lubricant which demulsify easily. That means emulsion breaks easily. So for a lubrication property, demulsification is very important criteria. Now, which can be determined by the steam emulsification number. We can determine the demulsification property of lubricating oil with its steam emulsification number, or SEN, that is steam emulsification number. This steam emulsification number of a lubricating oil is determined by ASTM test. What is this ASTM test? In this test, 20 ml of oil is taken in a test tube and steam at 100 degree is bubbled through it till the temperature of this tube is increased up to 90 degrees centigrade. Now, the tube is then placed into the bath maintained at the 90 degrees centigrade. That means we are mixing the oil with the steam at 90 degrees centigrade. Now after putting this tube in the bath with the temperature 90 degrees centigrade, we start the stopwatch, and the time in second is noted when the oil and water separate out in two different layers. That means demulsification takes place. That time in second is recorded. This time in second is known as the steam emulsification number of that lubricating oil. So the steam emulsification is as low as possible. The lubrication property will be better, because as the steam emulsification number is low, that indicates that the lubricating oil demulsify very fastly. So it would be better lubricating oil. So that's all for the today's class. Today we have covered the topic viscosity and viscosity index and the emulsification. Now today's learning check. Among the following, which can be used to increase the viscosity index of the lubricating oil? Methane, hexanol, benzene and soap. Think for the answer of this question. We will discuss the answer of this question in tomorrow's live class. Till then, take good care of yourself and keep enjoying learning at home. Thank you.